Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are here for the first time. Today we are going to be doing a makeup look for my client's daughter's 5th birthday party. She was wearing a gorgeous kind of a peachy pink satin gown, and my goal, or rather her goal, was to have a very Bridgerton themed look. I don't know if we got to that, but I wanted to give her something that would complement her looks, her features, and bring out the best in her. So we started prepping her skin with a hydrating toner, which was from Foxtail. And today I'm going to be mentioning products. I'm also going to be adding links to the products, which will be mentioned below, which you can buy directly from the app that I prefer. I am going in with prepping her skin thoroughly with a toner and a moisturizer from Embryolisse. After a nice thorough prep and an under eye cream, of course, we went in with some color correction. She didn't have very huge amount of discoloration, as you can very well see, but I still wanted to make sure that whatever I apply on her face, it doesn't change color or give her a ashy look after we are done with it, because the weather is kind of dicey. It's sweaty, it's dry, it's humid, everything is going on, and I wanted a great insurance for my makeup look. So we started in with correcting under her eyes, on her forehead, and around her mouth, of course. And you can see I'm using very little product for her foundation. I wanted to give a very subtle glow, and it was a birthday party. It would, if it would have been any other function like a wedding or something, wedding reception, engagement, anything, I would have gone with a heavier layer. But she's gonna be meeting people face to face. There's gonna be indoor kind of no studio lighting, so I had to be very careful not to layer her skin overly to give her a very kind of cakey look. So I went in with a color match for her entire face, and I layered on in steepling motions. I'm using a brush that will let me kind of apply and blend the foundation at the same time. After letting it sit on the face for around a minute or so, we went in with a damp sponge to even it out, to blend it out nicely all over her face. And you can see, just because I went in with a very light layer, you can still see the moisturizer, the dewiness of the moisturizer peeking through. I'm using a concealer for sure, but I'm using very little amount of concealer under her eyes and on the highest points of her face, and I'm immediately blending it out because I'm not looking for coverage per se, but I am looking for brightness around her face. So I took some time blending in the concealer around her face. But I've got to say, I'm really sorry for the video quality. The lights were not great, and I was working with little space, so I had to kind of squeeze in everything, and the framing is not right. I'm really sorry about the quality, but I really didn't want you to miss this look because we are creating something really beautiful. And I did do her bronzing a little bit. I added a bronzer, I added a very light layer of blush. Before I started blending my concealer, I let the concealer sit in, because the under eye brightness was really important for me to make sure that her face was not just flat. So we went in with a heavy contour, we went in with a nice blush, and we went in with brighter under eyes instead of the bright in the face entirely looking too bright. So this will create the right amount of dimension around her face. After blending this out, and her husband wanted to have a moment with us in the camera, so I'm glad we had that. But yeah, we went in with blending everything in nicely exactly where it was placed without spreading the entire thing around her face, and I'm setting everything in with a loose powder from Huda Beauty. This one really gives a really nice blurry look. It looks really finished, and we went in with the nose contour because she was slightly concerned about her nose, but I thought it was great. But I have to serve my clients, making sure their needs are met while I technically do what I do. After doing so, we added in some blush around her cheeks, her chin, and a little bit around her forehead just to give that blushy, glowy look. I added a highlighter, which is a cool toned highlighter from Bobbi Brown, which is one of my favorite cool tone highlighters. It was really pretty. It is subtle, but it gives the exact amount of glow that you need instead of looking very patchy and shimmery and flaky. That is something you can see how beautiful and glowy it looks. I just love the glow that it gives. Okay, we are going in with a very neutral brown shade. This is actually a brown shade. I know her outfit is pink, and it's cool toned, but I still wanted to give a shade of warmth because when it comes to Indian skin tones or the lightings that we place ourselves in, when the cool color reflects on our face, the face looks really gray or looks very whitish. And I wanted to make sure that that does not happen. When I started applying the transition shade on her eyes, I first applied it so that I get a hint of how far I can go in with her brows because I had to draw them in. She had very scanty brows, but that is what I loved about it the most because I tried get to create a shape that I like for her, and that was really fun. So I went in with a very light layer just to start with because she was conscious about the kind of shade that I'm going to be using in her brows. So I didn't want to go overboard, and we added little by little. I kept asking her if she was okay and comfortable with the shades, the darkness, the intensity that I was using. And I hope I gave her what she needed. But we just started with the light one and we kept building on. I'm using the same brush to kind of create a outer wing so that I understand how lifted or how it's like a guideline for me to see how lifted I can go with the eyes and the eyeshadow that we were going in. It was like a ruler, a scale that I could use, a guideline that I could use to create a nice look. So again, going in with the same brown shade that we went in with, I'm creating a transition. I'm creating depth on her eyelids so that I understand um, how the look or what kind of shape is going to be perfect for her, because most of us here in India have hooded eyes, and that does affect the way that we do makeup. And I'm going to start in by creating a shape on the outer corner of her eyes so that we don't allow the hood to peek through when we are finished with the eye makeup. Okay, creating a deeper V shape in the outer corners of her eyes with a cooler brown shade. Okay, I'm not going with gray. I know it looks gray in this video. Like I said, the lights and everything were not so great, so we had to make do. But yeah, we did add a cool brown tone in on the outer corner and the inner corner of her eyes because I wanted to create like a halo look without making it too prominent. I'm using a cooler pink shade of eyeshadow, shimmer eyeshadow on the center of her eyes to create that halo. And I'm using a kajal pencil or a kohl pencil to create a lash line, and I'm immediately starting to blend it with a very small tapered brush to create a smoky look because I don't know, I think I'm going through a phase of smoky eyeliners. It just looks so elegant and so blurry, the blur look that everyone is going for. Nothing is too overly defined. It's very soft, it's very blushy, it's very blended, and that looks really gorgeous on everyone. There is like, you don't have to have a particular kind of face or particular shape of eyes for you to be able to carry it. It's very easy to carry. It looks gorgeous on everyone. You can immediately see it created a very beautiful intensity around her eyes. We are going in with a darker brown eyeshadow, a mix of dark brown and black eyeshadow, because I wanted a good amount of intensity on her lash line to make her eyes pop. And we blended it in with a little bit of pressure to kind of blend the eye look with the eyeshadows that we had created. I'm adding highlighter on the arches of her brows to create a nice definition, and I'm using my finger to blend it because I think the warmth of the finger really makes sure that the shimmer is not patchy or kind of has harsh edges. It really blends it and nicely. I'm adding a shimmer on the inner corner as well, and I'm adding some more eyebrow um, color, although at the end of the look she added some herself, and which I prefer because she knows how she wants to look. And sometimes it is difficult for the client to convey that to you without without any proof or any picture to show that this is how I want to look it to look. I'm using a nice coat of mascara on her eyes, and even though the camera has not shown it or I was not able to capture it, I did intensify her eye makeup a little more, especially the outer and inner corner, while creating a smoky brown with a shimmer in the middle. Instead of giving, see, when a client says that I want smoky eyes, it will create a slightly flat look on your eyes, and I didn't want that. I wanted her eyes to pop, so I added the shimmer in spite of having a smoky eye themed look, but it still looked gorgeous. Are finally doing the lipstick. Our lips were supposed to be nude, slightly pinky nude. I wanted to go for pinky nude because that would kind of bring the entire look together, but she wanted a little more intense, so we went in with a brown nude shade which is slightly peachy, and I added some more highlighter on her collarbones so that she could really shine through. I'm adding some powder as insurance before I complete her eye makeup look. I'm using kajal to kind of give it a finished look. However, I don't think I captured it, but this is kind of the final look that we created. It came out really nice and glowy. There were some adjustments that were made at the end, even though I could not capture it. But yeah, this was really great experience, and I hope she liked it. And I will see you in the next video. And thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next time.